twice. Wants to find us something to believe in. He hears a knock at the door this evening. She says I'm going to New York City to follow my dreams. Would you come with me? Little girl, only 17 years old, looking at the stars in her granddad's eye. And dreams get a little bit wider, but together they cross the river.
it's the same for you. But you play with my mind when you send me these signs, and I see other guys get them too. I wanna know, hey, 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 where do we go from there?
Hey guys, it's Billie Eilish. Listen to today's top hits, a playlist where hits are made only on Spotify.
We're gonna do a song that's never
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Turn that off. My goodness me, I'm so. Welcome back, everybody, to the Motive Racing channel. We're here for the opening round of the GT4 Championship on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. Paul Ricard playing host to the opening round of the season, and we're looking forward to this one. Should be a great night of action. As you can see on the right hand side, you've got the list of the drivers who are in this championship. We've got a few absentees tonight. We've got 13 drivers on the track, so looking forward to seeing plenty of action. Although, having said that, would be nice to have a full grid, but nevertheless, I'm sure we're in for a treat here in this one. So the in-game info tonight. So we're going to have a practice session, which is set at we just had that. So that was 8 o'clock in the morning in the in-game time. The qualifying session set to take place in the afternoon. 15-minute session, which is just getting going now. We're just going to flick to that in a moment's time. And a 1 hour race will be taking place set in the morning for that one. So temperatures will be a little bit colder. Tyres will be a challenge to get up to temperature, but we'll have to see how these drivers are able to cope with that and ultimately get on with the job at hand. But here we go. Then let's flick to the action out on the track whilst we've got that up on the screen. So here we are then, Paul Ricard, first round of the season. Got some notable drivers returning to the track from last season. We've got GeezeMonkey, the reigning champion of the GT4 division, currently out there driving in the number 1 this season. So he's obviously, as the reigning champion, that is his prerogative. He can sport the number 1 if he wants, and he's doing that here tonight, which is good to see. Also signed up to the Porsche Super Cup as a reserve for this season, sporting his usual number 324 for that one. But ultimately, if you win a championship, who can blame anybody for wanting to show that off and flex a little bit? And good for him for that one. But ultimately, went down to the wire in the championship last season with standard control and came out on top, took home the plaudits. So congratulations to GeezeMonkey, back here again this season to defend his title. And time will tell us the answer as to whether or not he's going to be able to succeed in defending that crown. Just pulling something up here on the screen, see if we can get a little bit more information here. So yeah, GeezeMonkey did actually say when he signed up to the championship, we asked the drivers to say a little bit about themselves in their sign-up form, and he says winning the championship last season was the first thing I've ever gotten in my sim racing career. I'm back and eager to get more wins and championships on the table. That's great to see there. GeezeMonkey looking to retain that title if he possibly can. Another big name out there tonight, Corsa, champion of the GT3 championship, should I say, last season here at Motive Racing on Assetto Corsa Competizione, and he took the Tier 2 title as well for the GT4s, so he'll be looking to make the most of that step up and really pushed on this season to try and get the other jewel in the crown, so to speak. But he's just coming down the back straight at the moment. Looks like he's on his first flying lap of the session, this Corsa, and he's been pretty good in everything that we've seen him racing here on ACC. So once again, I think Corsa is going to be very, very strong in these GT4 cars. He'll have stepped it up a notch. I saw he was doing a bit of practice in these in the pre-season event, the German Manufacturers Challenge. He was driving in the BMW for that one as well. So that's given him a lot of time in this car to really get to grips with it. So expecting big things from the GT3 champ this season. Let's see if he can deliver. A little bit of information about Corsa actually. He's German, he lives in Berlin, born in 93, so he's either 27 or 28 years old, so about 4 or 5 years older than me. He says that he catches most of the GT3 races in the eastern part of Germany, so that'd be the Lausisring, the Sachsenring and the Oschersleben. Again, I don't know if I may be absolutely butchering those pronunciations, but yeah, he's a big GT3 fan, as we can tell, and says he's addicted to sparkling Lipton iced tea. Well, we sell that in my workplace, but very nice taste there for Corsa. But Freeman's currently set the pace in this qualifying session right now. One of our admins here, GT4 league coordinator as well, is Freeman, and he's currently blazing a trail out there, looking to try and be a contender for this championship. I would imagine he wasn't sure what he was going to be making tonight, but he's thankfully managed to to get through all of the complications in his personal life to get out on the track here, and we're expecting a strong performance from him tonight. Did a great job in the German Manufacturers Challenge in the pre-season, managed to take the win in that one after overhauling Cordeo with 2 laps to go and bringing it home to take the GT4 class win. That was a multi-class series, but he was the champion of the GT4 class for that particular event. So Freeman comes into this season on the back of some decent form, and once again he's going to be a big contender for this season for sure. He is also a moderator here at Motive Racing, so he does a lot behind the scenes and indeed here on the actual track itself, so we're very, very privileged to have him amongst us. He's also our G Portal man as well, sorts out our servers, really is the mastermind behind all of that stuff, so he's a very, very valuable asset to the Motive Racing team. And yeah, obviously driving the BMW for this one. Hasn't left us any information in the sign-up form, but we know quite a lot about him anyway. Obviously, we all know him, we all love him. He is the number 82 Freeman. We've got John Jig out there at the moment, currently sat in second at the moment in this session. John Jig, let's see if we've got any information about him. Control F is always a good starter point. And we haven't actually got any information about John Jig, but he's only racing in the GT4 Championship this season. This is his sole venture in the Motive Racing ACC League, so he's putting all of his eggs into this basket, and let's see if that can bring him any joy. Currently 2 seconds off the pace in the Merc AMG, the number 42. We've also got XandaFlanda out there at the moment. XandaFlanda took part in a few races in the early part of last season, returned to us towards the end of the season as well. XandaFlanda is racing solely in the GT4s as well, another one of the drivers who's only taking part in the GT4s, so that's going to be interesting. It's obviously going to be beneficial for drivers to focus on one championship as such, because then you can maximise your practice into one category and essentially give yourself the best chance in that particular category. But XandaFlanda says he's a teacher actually, and enjoys a spot of clean hard sim racing from time to time. He's pretty good at it as well. He's racing in the Ginetta for this season. Ginetta, the championship winning car. In fact, the championship first and second in the GT4 Zero Motive last season. So, yeah, definitely the Ginetta, a strong bit of kit for this category. And XandaFlanda currently flying the flag up in 3rd place, but a little way behind the reigning champ, Cheese Monkey, who's really setting a scorching pace right now with 1.4 seconds clear. So Cheese Monkey is absolutely doing a brilliant job so far. We've got Nilsson on the track at the moment. Nilsson's currently sat in 6th place in this session, driving in the number 36 Mercedes AMG is Nilsson. And yeah, Nilsson's a bit of a veteran here at Motive. Has been racing with us every season, I think, barring maybe the first season on the GT3s, so he might even be the longest serving driver out there right now, aside from Falguest, who we'll come to very shortly. But yeah, Nilsson currently 2.5 seconds off of the fastest time, being set by Cheese Monkey, so he's doing a good job at the moment in this session, and we'll see how that pans out and if he can improve and move some of the order a little bit. I believe also he's a former racing driver as well as Nilsson. I know he's done a little bit of racing in real life, so he's got a bit of experience. He knows what he's doing behind the wheel of a car, that is for sure. Also got Marty Rowe racing out there, flying the flag for Team Run DJC. JR, the CEO of Team Run DJC, has been in the comments already, getting his support in for his boys out on track tonight. I think it's only Marty and Freeman from Team Run DJC out there tonight, so not as many as we're used to seeing representing Team Run DJC, but for sure they're going to be contenders tonight, these two. And Marty currently 1.4 seconds off of the fastest time, being set by Cheese Monkey here in this session. Marty Road Racing has been with us for a while as well, one of our more experienced drivers here. He says in his sign-up form that tell us about you, he said, and he said coffee and motorcycles. So he's clearly a big fan of a nice bit of caffeine, and also likes his motorcycles as well, and clearly likes his 4 wheels by the looks of it, because he's been racing with us for a few seasons and tends to usually be up there at the sharp end. So Marty Rowe Racing from Scotland, driving the number 226, a BMW, looking to try and get the season off to a strong start. Also got Pete Bibb out there on track right now. Is also signed up for the Project Cars 2 Touring Car League this season. So he's, putting his eggs into something else for this season, trying out a new venture. It says I got the impression he hasn't driven on Project Cars 2 before, because I was speaking to him earlier on, and he initially signed up with the Mercedes for that series on the touring cars, but then had to change it up because the Mercedes is definitely a little bit underpowered in relation to the Renault Megane. So Pete Bibb currently he's doing a good job here in this section, though. He's just over two seconds off of the pace set by Cheese Monkey, which is no mean feat. Cheese Monkey, a solid driver. Driving in the Audi for this season is Pete Bibb in the number 56. So we'll see how he gets on. But yeah, good to have Pete out on track tonight. And have we got any information about him on the stream? Yes, we have. He's 39 years old, been sim racing for about 3 years, he says. And this will be his first full championship on ACC. He normally drives on Project Cars 2, so he has raced on Project Cars 2 before, a few times by the sounds of it. But he's looking forward to a new challenge, and his goal for this season is to be competitive. Well, currently he's doing a good job right now. He's up there in the top half in P6. We're down to 12 drivers here in this session, so we've lost somebody. I'm not sure who. Hopefully whoever that it was that's jumped out gets back in before we get going here for the opening race of the season. Otherwise they'll be very disappointed and losing out on quite a few points. But continuing on here in this session right now, we've got Falguest currently sat in 8th place at the moment. Is Falguest one of the founding drivers, or founding members? Makes it sound like he founded it with me. I'd say, yeah, I mean, kind of. Look, Falguest was there from the start, raced in our Project Cars 2 leagues back when we did the GTEs on a Monday, the Clios on the Tuesdays, and the GT5 Genettas on a Friday. So he's been there and done it and seen it all here at Motive Racing. Has raced with us on Project Cars 2 and ACC for a couple of seasons now as well. Driving that number 95 Audi. Falguest is an actual national karting champion as well. Not going to reveal his name on the stream because that would be a massive data protection lawsuit there. But long-standing member of Motive, 27 years old, from sunny Cornwall. Says he keeps it clean and race mean, and his favourite Formula 1 driver is Alonso. So definitely a big Fernando Alonso fan is Falguest. We've also got the Lazy Camel out there right now, currently sat in 10th place in this session, just under 3.5 seconds off of the fastest time being set by Cheese Monkey. Lazy Camel in the number 51 Ginetta. He's also been with us for a couple of seasons here at Motive, about 2 or 3 seasons, to at least 2 seasons, possibly 3. Saying in his intro that he might be the oldest driver here at the age of 51. I don't think so, Lazy Camel. I think Nilsson trumps you on that one. I believe Nilsson, forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I think Nilsson is either nearly 60 or over 60. I can't remember if it's either just under 60 or over 60. I'm not 100%, but I know that Nilsson is pushing 60, so I believe, Lazy Camel, you are not the oldest driver out on track. Also, we have Cinderella Tour out on track on Monday night in the Porsche Super Cup, who I believe is 57. So Lazy Camel, you've still got plenty of spring chicken years ahead of you, mate. Don't despair. You are not by any means the oldest driver here at Motive Racing. 51 years young. In the number 51 Ginetta, we got Snooky out there though at 11th place, just over 3.5 seconds. Very close between the Lazy Camel and Snooky actually here in this session. Look at that, it's about a couple of hundredths of a second between those two here in this one. Snooky, let's just pull him up and see if he's got anything to tell us. Not just at the moment. Snooky's only driving in the GT4s for this season, so it should be interesting to see how he gets on, being able to put all of his focus into this series. As we said, they currently sat in 11th place at the moment here in this session. Also got Duke Martin out on track at the moment, also only driving in the GT4s for this season, as you might predict, seeing as he's called Duke Martin. He is driving in the Aston Martin number 6. He's currently sat in the pits at the moment, provisionally sat 4 seconds off of the pace being set by Cheese Monkey. Windsor sat in the pits at the moment. Looks like he's not going to get in a lap time. Very surprising there for Windsor, but I think he's racing as a reserve tonight. So again, one of the long-standing members. He's been with us for a couple of seasons now, about 3 seasons I think, as Windsor. So He'll be looking to try and make some gains here once we go lights out and make his way back through the field. He won't be happy starting in 13th, but it looks like that might have been a voluntary rear of the field start from himself. So, into the 9 knockings here of this qualifying session. Cheese Monkey sat on provisional pole right now by 0.4 of a second, but Credeo is out there on a lap, so he might be able to trump him right at the end of this session. I think Credeo is further around. No, he's not further around the lap than Marty, I don't think, actually. I believe. Is he just coming out onto the long back straight? I'm not sure. No, he's coming in towards the end of the lap, I think, actually. So Cordeo's got a few corners left to go. This track all of it looks the same. It literally just the whole way around, every single part of this track looks the same. It's like a maze. It's impossible to know where you are unless you are a major Paul Ricard nerd. But it looks like Cordeo's gone off the track, so he's maybe knocked this lap on the head. We've got Marty still out there on the track at the moment, looking to try and improve if he can. Maybe get on the front row. He's got half a second to find to get himself on that front row ahead of Credeo. We've got the Lazy Camel at the moment, still sat in 10th. He's just coming through the middle sector of this lap. But we're going to ride with Marty Road Racing, representing Team Run DJC, the highest running Team Run DJC member, out on track at the moment. Freeman down in 6th in the pits. He's not been improved there. Marty got a couple of corners left to go in the number 226 BMW. What is it going to be for Marty Road Racing as he comes up towards the line? Already sat in 3rd place. Can he move up the order? He can't. He stays in P3, so it wasn't an improvement either on that final run of the session. What about the Lazy Camel? He's got a few corners left to go here in this one. Can he get himself up the order a little bit and challenge these drivers up ahead? He's currently running in that final top 10 position, coming up towards the line in the number 51 Ginetta. What is it going to be for the Lazy Camel? He stays in P8. Did improve his lap, but not by enough to move himself up the order. So that is going to be the classification then. That is going to be the grid order for the start. It's going to be Cheese Monkey, Cordeo, Marty Road Racing, John Jig, XandaFlanda completing the top 5, then Freeman, Pete Bibb, Nilsson, Falguest and Lazy Camel the top 10, Snooky, Duke Martin and Windsor rounding out the field for the opening round of the GT4 Championship here at Motive Racing. Whilst we're here, guys, I want to say a big thank you to everybody watching the stream. If you haven't already, guys, please drop a like on the video as it helps us out an enormous amount. And if you want to get involved in the action, go to www.motiveracing.com. Subscribe to the channel if you like our content. That way you'll be notified whenever we're live. You can hit the bell so that you will actually be proactively pinged every time we go live. So yeah, definitely do that, guys, if you enjoy what you see. We're exclusive to the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms at the moment, but hopefully in the near future we will be expanding. We didn't initially have plans to do that before, but unfortunately those plans went to the toilet a little bit. So yeah, unfortunately it's been pushed back a little bit, but we will plan to possibly move to the PC platform in the new year. So again, long way off yet, but yeah, that's the hope anyway. But that is the grid order. We're moments away from the start of the race. We're going to have a short little interval while the drivers get their setups together, and I don't believe we're doing formation laps this season, so I think it will be straight from the startup menu into the race. But we're going to go to a very short break here, ladies and gentlemen, while we just get the race underway. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you on the other side of this. go then, guys. Looks like we're underway for the start of the season. So Cheese Monkey leading us away up towards the first corner. What's going to happen here? Hopefully everybody keeps it clean as we're coming up towards the braking zone now. Credeo looks like he's around the outside of Cheese Monkey up into the lead. Great start from Credeo. Cheese Monkey there in second place, trying to hound and Aston coming through turn 2. And somebody's off in the background there. Don't know what's happened, but somebody's off onto the runoff. There's been a collision there in the mid-pack. That's Pete Bibb there coming together with what looks to be John Jig. So Pete Big and John Jig both having a bit of an incident coming through turn 2. But Cheese Monkey currently losing that position to Credeo. Credeo now up into lead. The GT3 champion leads the way here on the opening lap for the GT4 championship. There is Marty Road Racing currently sat in third place just behind these guys we see side by side here. Freeman trying to get the move done on XandaFlanda up the inside. Oh, he was thought about that, but XandaFlanda covering the line off. And XandaFlanda getting really loose there though, and has lost the car a little bit. Almost could get into the barriers, but just about kept it out of the wall. But he's been passed by pretty much the entire pack there. XandaFlanda having a mare on the opening lap of this race. The Ginetta of Cheese Monkey though getting a lovely draft all the way down this back straight, but the Ginetta pretty much a nothing car in a straight line. So I don't know if it's going to be able to get the move here on Credeo. In fact, no, look at that. It's a sitting duck down the straight. And Marty Road Racing, look at the closing speed he had on him. Wasn't able to get the move done as Cheese Monkey fended him off coming down into the corner. But Falguest, what a start from Falguest up into 4th place here. Goes a little bit wide onto the runoff area though. And oh my goodness me, he's completely missed that one. And Freeman now there moves up the inside. Nilsson there gets ahead of Falguest up into 5th place. Falguest losing out there a little bit. He's now got Snooky looking to his outside, but holds him off for the time being. The Lazy Camel, Duke Martin there in 9th place. Pete Bibb there running in 10th with John Jig and XandaFlanda at the back of the field in P12. But Credeo starting to try and gap Cheese Monkey if he possibly can. He needs to make use of that BMW's power in a straight line and use that to try and defend his position here on Cheese Monkey. But they're coming out of the final corner now to complete the first lap of the race, and right now Credeo doing what he has to do in this race. Cheese Monkey keeping him on his toes at the moment, 7/10 of a second between those two. There's Marty in 3rd. Falguest has been up into 4th place. Great opening lap there from him. But in fact, no, he's obviously lost out to Freeman. Sorry, I didn't know that. Freeman there, 4th, Falguest 5th, Snooky, Nilsson, the Lazy Camel, trying to have a look here on Nilsson if he possibly can. But Nilsson's also trying to get a move done on Snooky. But as you see there, Nilsson tagging the bollard a little bit there. Gets away with it, I think, without too much damage. Duke Martin's got a train of cars behind him. Pete Bibb, John Jig and XandaFlanda very, very close behind him right now. And is John Jig going to be eyeing up a move here on XandaFlanda up the inside? He has a little look, thinking about it, but not just at the moment. Unable to get that move for now. Credeo's got Cheese Monkey really hassling him here. Cheese Monkey will be disappointed that he lost the lead at the start. But Ginetta not very quick, accelerating or in general straight line speed, and off the line it looked like he just got caught unawares. Credeo with that BMW power rocketing off the start, and Cheese Monkey's got it all to do now. The reigning champion currently running in 2nd place. Marty there in 3rd. Freeman still running in 4th. Managed to gap Falguest by about a second. Snooky there 2 seconds behind Falguest in 6th place. He's got Nilsson pretty close. The Lazy Camel within 4/10 of a second though of Nilsson. But the thing is, the Lazy Camel driving in the Ginetta is going to be hard pushed to make anything happen with Nilsson, because the power in that Ginetta is just shocking. Duke Martin there running on the back of Lazy Camel though, and is Duke Martin going to get this move done up into this right-hander at the end of the straight? I think he has done, yeah, he's got ahead of the Lazy Camel there. Beautifully done there from Duke Martin, and there we see XandaFlanda up the inside of the Lazy Camel. Lazy Camel going backwards here in this race. He's really losing positions left, right and centre. Pete Bibb and John Jig still rounding out the field at the moment, but it's very, very tightly packed. The mid-pack to the rear of the field is so close right now. Really is excellent action tonight here in the opening round of the season at Paul Ricard for Motive Racing's GT4 Championship here on ACC. As you can see, guys, plenty of spaces. If you want to get involved in the action, go to motiveracing.com and sign yourselves up for this championship. That's Credeo and Cheese Monkey are going to go side by side here down the start-finish straight. Just over a second between them at the previous checkpoint. It's a bit less than that now. Cheese Monkey looking to the outside, but once again the BMW's got so much pace down the straight. Cheese Monkey though is going to try and use the grip that Ginetta's got as he dives up the inside of turn 1. But Credeo is still there and still fending him off. And Cheese Monkey maybe try and get the cut back. No, he can't, because he's got no power in that Ginetta. And Credeo Really wily defensive driving from the GT3 champion, clinging on by the skin of his teeth here in this one. It looked like he might have had to surrender that position, but he's managed to hold on just about there. Really great racing. Marty's still running up on a podium spot. Freeman closing on to Marty a little bit there in fourth. There's Falguest, he's got Snooky just behind him, and he's got a side-by-side action here. Nilsson is having to defend from XandaFlanda, but XandaFlanda's on the inside up into 7th place there. Beautifully done there from him. Lazy Camel, Pete Bib, Duke Martin's dropped back to 11th place. He's not had the best of laps there. He's now got John Jig not too far behind him in 12th place at the moment. Cordeo and Cheese Monkey still going at it, but Cheese Monkey is getting close to the parts of the track where he's got no pace in that Ginetta. So he's all right up his chuff here, and he's getting that slipstream, and maybe, just maybe, he's close enough to get a benefit from it. But the thing is, well, as soon as you get into 6th gear, that's it. The BMW just shoots off into the distance, and there we go. You're seeing the evidence of it once again. Case in point, 7/10 of a second by the time they get to the braking zone. So Cheese Monkey's got no answer for Cordeo down these parts of the track, despite the fact that he's quicker through the corners and has got a quicker package altogether. I believe it just isn't working for him at the moment. Marty's still running for 1.7 seconds off of these guys. Marty's gapped Freeman a little bit now. He's got 3 seconds back to him. Falguest keeping the gap to Freeman at around 2 seconds. He's gapping Snooky. XandaFlanda now is in clean air, can try and chase these guys down if he can. They'll keep Lazy Camel, Duke Martin, and John Jig to the inside of Duke Martin. Can't get it done at the moment. Tucking in, stay and put for now. But plenty of drama here in the opening couple of laps at Paul Ricard for Motive Racing's GT4s, and Cordeo, the GT3 champion, stepping up to the plate here in these GT4 cars. We know that he's quick, we know he's got talent. We saw in the pre-season event at the Nürburgring in the German Manufacturer Challenge, we saw him have a great battle with Freeman, which went down to the wire. Ultimate came out second best in that one, but he's leading, and that BMW power is really serving him nicely at the moment. He's just keeping Cheese Monkey at bay, and Cheese Monkey not able to do anything about it despite having the pace over him. He's looking to the outside. It's Cheese Monkey, and he might have the inside for turn 2 if he can keep his Ginetta on the inside. He's done that brilliantly there as Cheese Monkey, but he gets a horrible exit out of turn 2, and Cordeo's going to out drag him down towards turn 3. They're side by side coming towards the braking zone, but Cordeo with the immediate reply there, getting back ahead of Cheese Monkey. Great racing from these two out the front. Absolutely brilliant stuff. The reigning champion just cannot seem to find a way past the GT3 champion at the moment. These two are putting on a great show out the front, showing why they are champions here at Motive Racing for sure. Shame we don't have Will Freeman out there right now. We'd be able to see the 3 champions on ACC going at it, but these two though doing a great job out the front, and Cheese Monkey once again has got that slipstream, but I don't think it's going to come to any avail, because the BMW is going to absolutely, I was going to say quite a rude term there, but you know what I mean, it's going to just leave him for dust in the down that back straight. Marty Road Racing there still sat in that final podium spot. He's got 3.8 back to Freeman's. Falguest is starting to close in a little bit on Freeman now. 1.7 between those two. He's got a bit of a gap back to XandaFlanda in 7th. Nilsson has still got Pete Bibb, Lazy Camel, John Jig pretty close, and Duke Martin dropping off these guys a little bit at the moment. But John Jig looking to the inside of the Lazy Camel, coming down towards the braking zone here at the end of the long straight, and John Jig's got that done up into the final top 10 spot there. Nicely done there from him. Lazy Camel with no response there in that Ginetta. It's absolutely awful in a straight line. And one man we've got to watch out for right now is Marty Road Racing, flying the flag for Team Run DJC. He is really bringing this gap down here to the top 2. Cordeo and Cheese Monkey, whilst they're focusing on each other, are losing time to this man who is really getting it down in that number 226, as we can still see Cordeo and Cheese Monkey going at it here for the lead of the race. Cheese Monkey once again has got a nice run coming down the start finish straight, but he's going to need to get this done on the brakes. He's going to need to just throw caution to the wind somewhere out there. He doesn't need to get there. It's only 9 minutes into this race, and there's still so much time in this race for him to get himself into this one. But for the time being, Cordeo doing everything he needs to do to hold Cheese Monkey at bay. The number 5 BMW currently keeping the number 1 Ginetta behind him, but for how much longer is he going to be able to weather this storm? 0.2 of a second between him as they crossed over the start finish line. Cheese Monkey's got the speed in the corners, he's got the grip, but just has not got the grunt to out-drag Cordeo down any of the straights in towards the overtaking zones of the track. Here we go, once again, Cheese Monkey getting a lovely run out of the slower corners. The Ginetta's got so much speed through the slower corners, but it's these parts of the track that they're about to embark on now, down this long straight where Cheese Monkey's got no answer to Cordeo. You see there, he's got the run, he's got that slipstream, but it's going nowhere, is it? It's going nowhere. And here we go, we'll just see once again, Cordeo's rocket ship will suddenly ignite, getting into 6th gear, and we'll just pull away from him again. Marty's still running in 3rd place, he's dropped off of these two a little bit now, he's 1.8 seconds behind Cheese Monkey, he's 2.3 off of the lead. Freeman there sat in 4th place at the moment, he's got a bit of a gap back to Falgues there, 2.4 between Freeman and Falgues, that gap's kind of staying at the same. We'll watch this battle going on here between the back markers here, because we've got Pete Bibb making the move on the inside there of Lazy Camel. It's Pete Bibb. So John Jig getting up into 8th place ahead of Pete Bibb and the Lazy Camel. Duke Martin's still running 11th place. Nilsson's had a moment there. He's dropped off for this battle a little bit. He's now 4 seconds adrift of this fight, which is going on for 8th place, as John Jig now has cleared these guys up into a P8. Pete Bibb, Lazy Camel, Duke Martin's dropped off of these a little bit, but still there, still more or less in the fight. But this is proving to be a very exciting race for 8th place right now. These guys really going at it, and still the battle between Cordeo and Cheese Monkey raging on, but Cordeo has got every answer to Cheese Monkey right now. Cheese Monkey just cannot seem to find a way around him. Whatever he does, whatever he tries, however much he pushes him, hounds and hassles him through the slower corners, he just has not got the grunt to out-drag him coming down the long straights. And this is the thing that the BMW's got over the Ginetta that we're seeing right now. The Ginetta's got the speed, it's got that pace over one lap, but in the race, if you get jumped off the line, then you're going to have a real struggle in the race. And Cheese Monkey's probably already sat there thinking, my God, when does the pit window open? Because he's going to be getting frustrated in that Ginetta, that is for sure. Marty's still sat in that final podium spot. There is Falgues running in P5. He's 3 seconds off the back of Freeman at the moment. Freeman running in 4th. We've got XandaFlanda about almost 3 seconds behind Falgues. He's actually, I think he's closing in on Falgues a little bit since he got ahead of that mid-pack battle. Snooky also clear of that battle going on behind him. We've got John Jig, who's now a second clear of Pete Bibb. Pete Bibb's still got Lazy Camel pretty close to him. Duke Martin there running 11th place, and Nilsson after that bit of a moment, a couple of laps to go, running in P12. It's going to be a bit of an uphill fight for him there in that Mercedes number 36, but Cordeo still leading this race, coming down the back straight here for the 6th time here in this race. We've seen lots of drama, we've seen action, we've seen a few thrills and spills, but it's been for the most part very clean out there so far. And Cordeo still out there doing the business, still showing these guys how it's done in that number 5 BMW, the GT3 champion, really stepping up to this GT4 Tier 1 this season and showing everybody what he's made of, as we're just seeing on the timing screen there. Falgues has picked up a drive-through for track limits, so he's been cutting a few corners there, and he will ultimately pay the price there for that one. But Cordeo has still got about a second gap to Cheese Monkey at the moment. Cheese Monkey keeping him on his toes, still letting him know that he's in there waiting to pounce if needed. Pete Bibb running half a second behind John Jig at this point. These two 1.6 clear of the Lazy Camel have managed to gap him a little bit. Duke Martin falling off the back of Lazy Camel. Nilsson falling off the back of all of these guys now. So it looks like they're now kind of in their order, if you like. Cheese Monkey was 4 tenths behind Cordeo as they crossed over the start-finish line. That's not going to be enough to get him ahead unless Cordeo makes a mistake. But Cordeo has been resolutely holding firm in this race. Falgues coming in to serve that drive-through penalty there, getting it done and out of the way. But Pete Bibb there still sat in 8th place, 8 tenths of a second behind John Jig at the moment. But that's a wise decision there from Falgues, because he's picked up that penalty and he knows that you can't run away from it forever. The best thing to do is just get it done, out of the way, and then you can just move on. You know, you can just carry on as you are, and that's the logic behind that one. And it's a very sensible decision, which I think everybody should heed and listen to, because if I had to give one bit of advice, just get it done out of the way. That's what you got to do. But Cheese Monkey still on the back of Cordeo right now, 3 tenths between these two as they're coming down this long back straight. And once again, as soon as they get up to speed, the BMW completely leaving that Ginetta for dead. We've got John Jiggs on the back of Snooky right now, 6 tenths of a second between these two. John Jiggs really got the pace down since he got ahead of that battle behind him into some clean air. So now he's going to look to try and get himself into P6 and hassle the back of Snooky as much as he can. Watching XandaFlanda there in 5th place, he's a little way off of Freeman. I think the gap between Freeman and XandaFlanda is kind of staying around the same. Freeman maybe reeling in Marty a little bit last couple of laps. I don't know, maybe Freeman's just getting a bit of confidence, getting those tyres in the zone, but he's definitely reeling in this man here, Marty, who's still sat in that final podium spot, but is falling off to the back of Quideo and Cheese Monkey a little bit, as Quideo still continues to lead this race, as we're a quarter of the way into the opening round of the GT4 season here at Motive Racing. As you can see, guys, we've got plenty of spots on the table. If you want to come on, get involved, go to www.motiveracing.com, become one of these drivers out on the track if you think you've got what it takes. As we see Quideo and Cheese Monkey coming down the start-finish straight here for the 8th time here in this race. There's Marty still sat in that final podium spot. Freeman in 4th place at the moment. XandaFlanda there going up towards 9 in 5th. About 6 seconds off the back of Freeman. Actually gained a little bit on him coming to that last part of the lap. We've got Snooky there in 6th. Giovannini now really close on him. Pete Bibbs joined this battle as well. So this could get tasty between these three. We've got another battle being reinvigorated in the mid-pack, which is always exciting to see. Lazy Camel there, still sat in 9th place at the moment, 4 seconds off of them. Martin there in that final top 10 spot. Nilsson, Falguest running down in P12 after serving that drive-through. But it's going to be interesting to see Falguest coming back through the pack, because I know he's got the pace over at least, well, I'd say 4 or 5 drivers here tonight. So I reckon that we'll be seeing Falguest picking up a few places before the end of this race. It'll be a recovery drive for him, damaged invitation in this one for sure. But I know he's got what it takes, as we've seen before, and I've mentioned earlier, Falguest is a national karting champion, so he knows what it takes to drive on 4 wheels. Not necessarily the same as driving a car, but the same sort of set of skills, isn't it? Really, come on. But albeit using a different way. But Giovannini still just ahead of Pete Bibb right now. These two have managed to gap Snooky a little bit coming to the first sector, but Pete Bibb is going to have that closing speed here. It's going to be Mercedes versus Audi power. These two pretty evenly matched in the straight line. I'd say Giovannini has slightly better straight line speed in the Mercedes, but Pete Bibb has the slipstream, but coming up towards the right hander at the end of the back straight, and for the time being Giovannini holding on there ahead of Pete Bibb, but not by much though. There was only 2 tenths between them as they got to the end of the straight, so it's pretty tight between these two at the moment. Oh, Cheese Monkey's really close on the back of Quideo now. Look at that. Is he going to try and get the cut back here out of the last corner and maybe use that exit? Obviously the BMW quicker in a straight line, but that Ginetta got such a good launch out of the final corner. He'll have a slight lead coming over the line. Quideo will have the straight line speed coming up towards turn 1 as we're coming up towards the first corner now. In towards the braking zone we come. Cheese Monkey on the outside. Quideo's going to try and come back in on the inside. Is he? Oh no, Cheese Monkey swoops around the outside into the lead of the race, and that is what Cheese Monkey needed. He has now got the ascendancy here in this one. It's been absolutely hassling the back of Quideo since Quideo jumped him off the line, but now he's got that lead. Now he's got the impetus to try and push on and take this race win if possible, but still very early doors here in this race. The reigning champion though now leads the first race of the season here at Motive Racing for the GT4s. Marty still sat in the final podium spot at the moment. Freeman running in 4th place. XandaFlanda, the man sat in 5th at the moment. He's got a big gap back to Giovannini, who's dropped off of him a little bit. Giovannini's still got Pete Bibb pretty close to him. Snooky's dropped out about a little bit now. 2 seconds behind. He's got Lazy Camel 2 seconds off him, so Snooky's gapped the Lazy Camel. Martin falling off the back of Lazy Camel. Nilsson closing in on Duke Martin a little bit. This could get interesting as he is bringing that gap down for sure. Falguest still running in at P12 at the moment, still doing a good job in that Audi. But in fact, has Quideo got back ahead of Cheese Monkey? He has. Oh my goodness, wow. Cheese Monkey going back towards the inside and towards his right hander. Great move there from Quideo. Sorry, from Cheese Monkey. He's back up the inside of Quideo up into the lead of the race. This is incredible stuff between these two. I thought Cheese Monkey had it done and dusted. Quideo came back at him, and now Cheese Monkey has put it on him again. But the thing is, the Ginetta can't overtake the BMW on a straight line, but the BMW can certainly come back at the Ginetta if it gets a good exit out of the corner onto any of the straight. But Cheese Monkey needs to make sure he has probably around a 3-4 tenth of a second gap at least coming out of the slower corners onto the straights if he is to keep the lead. Quideo knows if he gets a good run out of this final corner, he'll be in with a fighting chance, and even if he doesn't, he can set himself up for the long straight in the middle sector. But coming over the line to complete lap 9 of the race, 8 tenths between them. Cheese Monkey may have this done now. So the reigning champ of the GT4 division up against the champion of the GT3s, Quideo. Cheese Monkey currently out on top in his category, in his area of expertise. Is currently showing Quideo a trick or two here in these GT4 cars. Question is though, is he going to have enough of a gap when we come out onto that long ass back straight in order to hold on to P1 with that BMW having the speed that it's got in that part of the track. Number 81's got a drive through. That is XandaFlanda, who has picked up a drive through there, so that's not ideal at all for him. Cheese Monkey though has got just over a second of a gap to Quideo. I think that probably will be enough at the end of this straight. We'll wait and see. But we know the BMW is quick in a straight line, especially with a slipstream. But I think that Cheese Monkey a second should keep him that lead that he's worked very hard to take here in this opening stint of the race. Quideo got the better start, got into the lead of the race, but Cheese Monkey really put him under pressure and ultimately managed to find a way through. But coming up towards the end of this back straight, look at that. Quideo has gained about 7/10 just down that straight. But Cheese Monkey should have that preferred line and should have the grip going through the slower corners. Still Quideo hassling him, but Cheese Monkey slams the door on him, and that should be, I think, job done there. Cheese Monkey needs to try and assert his dominance through these slower corners and pull out that gap coming out of onto the start finish straight. But if he nails these next few corners, this is pivotal for Cheese Monkey now. He needs to nail these next few corners and make sure he's got that gap coming down the start finish and then onto the back straight. But if he can do that, then he should be able to hold on to that lead and ram home his advantage here in this one. But it's been a great race between these two since the start. Cheese Monkey and Quideo have been going at it since the opening lap of this race, but Cheese Monkey now showing why he is the GT4 champion, ahead of the GT3 champion here at Motive Racing. 1.2 the gap now, so Cheese Monkey should be able to control this race from here. XandaFlanda's still got that drive-through penalty. I wonder if he's going to take it this lap. It looks like he is, so he's coming in to serve that penalty and get it done and out of the way, which is always good. As I said earlier on, when you get a penalty, the easiest thing to do is just to be straight up, come in, get it done, and then that's it. You ain't got to worry about it after that, have you? But Cheese Monkey still leading this race at 1.2 between these two at the front. So Cheese Monkey showing everybody why he is the champion. Driving in the Ginetta, the number one, obviously sporting number one because he is the number one GT4 driver here in Motive Racing. And he's really done a good job here. It's not easy to overtake anybody in a Ginetta, let's be honest, but he's showing that it is possible, especially on a track which has got long straights like Paul Ricard. It's still doable. He's already pulled out 1.8 back to Quideo, but we're watching Giovannini right now, who is looking to try and close in. In fact, no, has he got ahead of Pete Bibb now? XandaFlanda served his drive through, but Giovannini, they're getting ahead of Pete Bibb up into 5th. Snook is still running in 7th place right now, the Lazy Camel in 8th. Jude Martin's still keeping the gap around the same to the Lazy Camel. Jude Martin has actually pulled out a bit of a gap to Nilsson though, which he'll be happy with. Nilsson was closing the gap, now Jude Martin's got a 3.5 second gap back to him. XandaFlanda's emerged in P11, he's 4 seconds ahead of Falguest, so Falguest is bringing himself into this fight, and I reckon Falguest could very well be on for a top 5 finish here, despite that drive through. I think he's got the pace over pretty much everyone up to John Jig at the moment. He was up, I mean, he was keeping tabs with Freeman in the early stages, so he will be definitely gutted with that drive through that he picked up, but he's on a mission here as Falguest, and I'm sure it's going to be a solid recovery drive from the man in the number 95 Audi, one of the founding members of Motive Racing, back on the Project Cars 2 days of the GTEs, Clios and GT5s. But Cheese Monkey still leading the way at the moment, 1.5 seconds between Cheese Monkey and Quideo as they're coming over the line to complete their 11th lap of this race. Marty's got 1.7 back to Freeman, so Freeman is really getting the laps down right now. I would hazard to say Freeman may be the fastest man out on track at the moment. He is reeling in Marty like no one's business. He's only about 10 seconds off the lead, considering the first 2 laps did not really go to plan for him. I know he's had limited testing for this one due to a few little behind the scenes glitches in his everyday life, so I know that it's not been easy for him these last few days, but he's done a really good job to get himself out on track, and he's very much in striking distance of his team run DJC teammate. Big question at this point is, does he do team run DJC play the reverse switch card and say, look, Marty, Freeman at this point a little bit quicker. Maybe we should race him into some clean air and see what he can do. Again, I'm not the team principal. That's JR's job, but we'll have to see, because right now Freeman looks like he's got some strong pace, and I don't know, maybe could be in with a shout of closing in on Cheese Monkey. Deo, still a long way to go in this race. Only 25 minutes in, 35 still to go. Pit window will be open in a matter of seconds, but Quideo, just noticing there's we'll get back down to Cheese Monkey a little bit. That may be down to the fact that that was down the long straight. As JR said in the comments there, let's go Marty and Freeman. They're currently both in contention for a podium, but at this rate, only one of them's going to get it, because they're quite a way off their first and second. But they're still in a good position right now, Team Run DJ. And Freeman looks like he's definitely got the momentum at the moment. Beep still sat in 6th, he's 2 seconds behind. And JR saying the guys know the score of Marty. If Marty feels he's faster, he might let him chase down the leaders. So yeah, there we go. I mean, JR basically saying there that the guys know exactly what to do in that situation. What he's essentially saying there is that if Marty sees Freeman lapping quick, senses that Freeman could do a better job if he's in clear air, then he make that decision to move over. And I think that shows the harmony, and that shows the understanding in that Team Run DJC camp. It really is excellent to see. Freeman into the pits, so he's going to try and get the undercut on Marty. I would imagine that will mean that'll basically be beneficial, because it will mean that Marty doesn't have to lose time letting Freeman past him. So Freeman now can try and get that undercut if possible. Gap between the two leaders, Cheese Monkey and Quideo, still just over a second, so it's kind of staying the same. Cheese Monkey in the slower parts of the track, the slow corners, will definitely be pulling away from Quideo. It's down this straight that they're coming up to now, where Quideo gains his time, but I think it's pretty much toing and froing between those two at the moment. Falgus at the moment, he's now 11 seconds off the back of Nilsson, so he's clearly had a bit of a skirmish. Well, in fact, no he hasn't, because he is now ahead of Nilsson. So my credibility is absolutely woeful at this point, but made a bit of an idiot of myself there, haven't I? But Lazy Camel there in the pits. Cheese Monkey still out in front doing the business. I guess you shouldn't report something or preach something unless it's absolutely 100% confirmed, because otherwise you do end up looking like a myth for melon. But Cheese Monkey still out in front at the moment, 0.8 of a second between Quideo. JR saying Cheese Monkey impressive here, and his AOR season. Let me know in the comments, JR, what Cheese Monkey's like in the GT4s at AOR. I know he's a pretty quick driver. I didn't know he raced at AOR, but that doesn't surprise me, because he's got plenty of talent behind the wheel of the Ginetta. Does he race in the Ginetta at AOR? Because if he does, I mean, it's incredibly impressive the speed that he gets out of that Ginetta, when you consider how woeful it is in a straight line. It's so quick through the corners, but you really do have to wring the neck of it. Right now he's doing that. He's 0.8 of a second ahead of Quideo at the moment. Yeah, he's saying Ginetta has no top end, so no idea how he's leading. Well, the first part of the race, he got jumped by Quideo when he was running behind him for a lot of laps. He raced in GT3 at AOR, fair enough. But yeah, I was saying about he's in the GT3, yeah. But with the Ginetta, the first part of this race, he was on the back of Quideo. He got jumped off the line, and he was so much quicker. You could see through the corners. He was all over him. He'd be like 1-2 tenths behind coming out onto the straights, and then he'd be in that slipstream. He'd kind of be keeping with him up to a point, and then as soon as they got into 6th gear, that was it. Quideo's just like it was like we have liftoff, and away he went. But he managed to get the move done somewhere. I don't know if Quideo made a mistake or what happened, but he did manage to get ahead of him. And since he's got the lead, he's been very solidly keeping in position. But JR saying that Quideo is an experienced AOR driver, so props to Cheese Monkey. Absolutely, you really got to give it to him at the moment. Cheese Monkey is the man in the GT4s. You've got to say he's the man to beat. He's the one who they're all looking up to here this season, being the champion of last season, managing to come out on top in a season-long battle with a driver like Standard Control is no mean feat. As John Jig's out on his way out of the pits, Pete Bibb's still in the box at the moment. In fact, no, John Jig isn't on his way out of the pits. He's still sat in the box, as is Pete Bibb. So those two waiting for the green light from their pit crews to get off and on their way. But Cheese Monkey still has the lead of the race at the moment, 0.7 of a second. Is his gap to Cordero? He's just managing this one. At this point, it's Cheese Monkey just keeping it together, doing everything he has to do out the front. And Pete Bibbs just emerged from the pit lane now, so he's off and on his way. So that means the top 7 still yet to pit. Everyone from 8th downwards has been in. Freeman, the highest runner of those who have been into the pits already, 17 seconds off at the back of Falguest at this point. That suggests to me that maybe Freeman has changed. Maybe Freeman's changed tyres. If he's 17 seconds behind Falguest went in for a drive-through, but so you can basically compare it straight up because Falguest came in for a drive-through, whereas Freeman came in for a pit stop. So by that, you've kind of got to assume that he came in and stopped for about 20-25 seconds because Falguest was about 5 seconds behind Freeman before he came into the pits for his drive-through, and Freeman's come out 16 seconds behind him. So I would say maybe Freeman would have been stationary for about 20-25 seconds. So I reckon he's probably put some fresh tyres on, which you really do need at this track. It's very high on the tyre wear, so we could be seeing Freeman having a stronger stint towards the end of this race. But he's going to have to do a longer stint on those tyres because he's putting them on right at the start of the pit window, whereas Cheese Monkey's just come in now. He's off and on his way. Marty also. Snooky and XandaFlanda both coming into the pits as well. Snooky just stopping there in his box right there. XandaFlanda also doing likewise. Marty's off and away. Cheese Monkey was off and away a little while ago. He's now 10 seconds ahead of Cheese Monkey. And where's Freeman going to come out? Freeman's just coming towards turn 1 now. So Cheese Monkey, we expect to be the net race leader, but that could all change if Cordero gets a strong pit window stint behind him. Snooky and XandaFlanda both still sat in the pits at this point. JR saying great mix of cars. It is. It's a very versatile field. Apologies for that, just dropped my phone on the floor. But yeah, it's good to see. I mean, you've got a lot of selection. The BMW is quick in a straight line. You've got the Ginettas. It's so quick through the corners. Audi, bit of a jack of all trades. The Merc's very quick in a straight line as well. The Merc's good at everything, pretty much. But yeah, definitely you've got you've got a good mix of cars. And you've got the Aston as well, not to mention, don't forget the Aston Martin, of course. Wouldn't be a true Brit if I didn't mention the Aston Martin, currently being repped by Duke Martin, sat in second spot, but that will all change once he comes in and makes that mandatory pit stop. Falguest has also got to come in and serve that before the pit window concludes, as Cordero, the race leader, is coming in now to make that pit stop. So now we're going to find out whether or not Cordero has done enough to jump Cheese Monkey in these pit stops. I have a feeling that Cheese Monkey is going to hold on to the lead and will have pulled away a little bit during this pit window. I think that Cheese Monkey has got some very, very good pace in that Ginetta, and I think without the pressure of having a car that's a lot quicker in a straight line behind him, I reckon he would have been able to really eke out that gap over this pit window. But Cordero and Duke Martin both in the pits to get their pit stops done and out of the way. Looks like Falguest is doing the same. When I say getting it done and out of the way, it's a little bit late in the day now, isn't it? You know, I mean, pit window opened, 8 minutes ago? But yeah, for sure, they're getting it done. That's the main thing. Better late than never. Better late than never, eh? Cordero off and on his way. Duke Martin's still in the pit box. Falguest is just pulling into his pit box now. Cheese Monkey has come out and he is still ahead of Cordero, so, but not by much though. 3 or 4 or 5 seconds possibly at an absolute push between the two of them. So very much still race on between these two. If Cordero can really get the hammer down, or if Cheese Monkey makes a little mistake, then who knows, it could be Cordero's win, or it could be, but it's definitely Cheese Monkey's for the taking at this point. Duke Martin is just on his way out of the pits now. Falguest still sat in that box at this point in time. As Marty continued to go around in the final podium spot, he's got 2.7 back to this man Freeman. What a job Freeman's done in this race. It wasn't the easiest of opening few laps for him. I think he's got some fresh tyres on, so he's going to have some excellent pace in the final part of this race. I don't know if the others did the same. I think they probably did, to be fair, because the gaps look pretty consistent, so maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm. Maybe that's not going to benefit him as much as I'm announcing that it will, but who knows? Who knows? But the gap between Friedmann and Clegg at this point is 4 seconds. And JR pointing out there that Clegg did lose a bit of time in the pit stops. He definitely did, for sure. Well, what's happened to Falgas? Falgas is dropping back here. I think he's had a moment. I don't know what's happened there, but he's now down in 11th place, so something has gone catastrophically wrong there for our man in the Audi, I think. Yes, it has. So Djphil Martin, Snooky and the Lazy Camel ahead of him. He's still behind Djphil Martin. In fact, I think it was about that to begin with. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Amnesia is long-term memory, isn't it? If anybody knows what short-term memory problems is, please hit me up. My long-term memory is actually quite good. I could probably tell you who won the GT4 championship. I could probably tell you who won the GT3 race at Paul Ricard back in season 1 of Motive Racing. I can remember stuff like that. But when it comes to stuff from 10 minutes ago, as to who was in what position, I honestly couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. Terrible, isn't it? But Cheese Monkey still leading this race at the moment. 5 seconds back to Clegg. 6 seconds back to Marty. So Marty's fallen off of Clegg a little bit over the course of the pit window. I mean, it was about 5 seconds before, but it's a little bit more now. And Marty has now got Freeman very close. He will be seeing him in his rearview mirrors pretty shortly, I would imagine. And JR has been saying in the comments that he expects that the Team Run DJC boys are going to play it strategically here in this one. So if Marty feels that Freeman has got the pace over him, then he will move aside and let him through. But having said that, he's pulled out a 10th in that first sector there, so Marty's showing he has got the pace at this point. Also noticing we've got a bit of a battle going on No, we haven't. Oh yeah, we have. So Snooky running in 8th place, Djphil Martin 9th, there's Lazy Camel on the back of this trio. These guys fighting it out over 8th place. They've got Falgas not too far behind them in 11th place, only 6 seconds off the back of this fight. These guys are 4 seconds behind XandaFlanda in 7th. But Djphil Martin currently in a bit of a sandwich in these 3 cars. Cheese Monkey gap to Clegg is just over 5 seconds. Oh no! Oh, Falgas has picked up another drive-through penalty. Track limits being overstepped just a little bit there, and he's going to have to come in and serve that in the next 3 laps. Otherwise, there may be major consequences for Falgas. But it's a shame because he has had the pace tonight. But unfortunately, if you fall foul of the race director, then you're not going to get very far. But Cheese Monkey still leads this race by 6.5 seconds over Clegg, and still really handling business out front in that number 1, the reigning champion, picking up where he left off so far. But still a long race to go, still over 20 minutes left in this race. They've all done their pit stops, they've all got that done as they would have needed to, due to the fact that the pit window is between minutes 25 and 35. So if you miss that pit window, then it doesn't actually count as a pit stop. So you essentially, if you were to come into the pits after the pit window, you would go to all that trouble to come in and get it done, and it still wouldn't count for anything. So it'd basically be a waste of time. You might as well just stay out on the track if you missed the pit window. But saying that, everybody's done it, so that's good to see. But Djphil Martin's still sat in 9th place at the moment, and he's got 1.4 back to this man, Lazy Camel. Looks like Snooky's managed to gap Djphil Martin a little bit in the later part of that lap. There's now 1.5 between Snooky and Djphil Martin. Lazy Camel still sitting reasonably close to the back of Djphil Martin at this point, still not too far off of him. Falgas is coming into the pits to get that drive-through done. But it's so unfortunate for Falgas here in this race. Wouldn't have thought that. He's usually a pretty disciplined driver, you know, he likes to follow the track limits and keep things within the boundaries of the rules, but yeah, I don't know, out of sorts tonight, not like Falgas at all. Very surprising to see that, and that is a compliment. But Clegg sat in 2nd place, 7 seconds behind Cheese Monkey, losing a bit of time to the race leader at this point. Marty has now got Freeman very close behind him. These two both in the BMW, so Freeman's not going to have a major pace advantage down the straights, but this could get pretty tasty between these two for sure. Snooky's gapped Duke Martin a little bit now, 1.7 seconds between them. Lazy Camel running in 10th place. He's now 1.6 off the back of Duke Martin. Freeman still running in 4th place at the moment. He's 7/10 behind Marty Road Racing as they are coming over the line to complete their 18th lap of the race. Cheese Monkey still doing the business out the front and really getting the hammer down. He's pulling out that gap by quite some way to Quideo at this point as we're into the final third of the race. Freeman though within 7/10 of Marty Road Racing. Is he going to be in range to maybe get that slipstream effect down the long straight and possibly get himself up into that podium spot? We'll have to see as they're coming into that part of the track now, near enough. Freeman can get a good exit out of this section of the track, and he will set himself up beautifully to try and take that 3rd spot. But Marty looked like he got a good run through there. Freeman though, pretty close here. Look at that. I reckon there's about 6-7 tenths between them right now. Freeman could be on to take 3rd place here. He's going to get a pretty strong closing speed here down this part of the track. The number 82 picking up a good slipstream. It's going to be close down the end of the straight, but I think that Marty is going to have just enough of a gap as they're coming in towards the braking zone. Freeman, look at that, really reeling him in now. Is Marty going to have to defend this position? Team Run DJC are going to be watching this, hoping that they keep it clean and keep it tidy with each other. For the time being, Marty holding on, but Freeman hunting him and looking to get into that 3rd spot if he can. These guys now 17 seconds off of the lead. They're currently 8 seconds, 9 seconds behind Quideo. As we see, the Lazy Camel's got ahead of Duke Martin up into 9th place. Can now try and set his sights on Snooky, who's gapped these guys a little bit. They're in 8th place. He's still got 6 seconds behind. He's still 6 seconds behind XandaFlanda at this point. XandaFlanda possibly reeling in Pete Bibb a little bit here in this one. So I wonder if XandaFlanda's got what it takes to get himself into that top 6. Only 4. Oh, having said that, the gap is going up a little bit. So Pete Bibb pulling away ever so slightly from XandaFlanda. Yeah, JR saying there in the comments that it's the last podium spot, so there's not going to be any team orders from Team Run DJC, and you can understand that because essentially they got, in a way, they got nothing to lose unless one of them monumentally messes up and they both get taken out, in which case they lose a hell of a lot. But I suppose that if we're going to be realistic, they're probably neither of them are going to catch up to Quideo in second. So really at this point they might as well just fight it out and try and try and do it for themselves. But was still holding on here ahead of Freeman right now. Great little fight these two are putting on. Lazy Camel still sat in 9th place at this point, just ahead of Duke Martin, 8 tenths, or a bit more than that now between these two. Freeman has lost a bit of time to Marty over this last lap or so. Marty's responding a little bit to that pressure from Freeman. Pardon me. See Freeman a little bit closer now to the back of Marty Road Racing. 6 tenths between these two, but Freeman looks like he's just that little bit closer, putting him under ever so slightly more pressure. Maybe in striking distance as they're coming up towards this back straight. The both losing a bit of time to the leader Cheese Monkey though. Credeo has now dropped well off Cheese Monkey. Over 10 seconds now is Cheese Monkey's gap at the front. And a further 10 seconds back to these two, so now over 20 seconds off of the lead. This is very much for the final scraps on the podium between Marty and Freeman. Lazy Camel's keeping the gap around the same to Duke Martin, those two pretty much matching each other. But Lazy Camel was 4 tenths quicker in that final sector. But down the long back straight they come, Marty and Freeman separated by 7 tenths. 4 tenths now. Freeman's really made some gains down that back straight, but still not enough to get that move done. Laps are winding down here, 3/4 of the way into this one. Still 15 minutes left to go for the opening round of the GT4 Championship here at Motive Racing. It's been a great night of racing here in this one. Really have enjoyed the action, starting to settle down a little bit now, but we had a great little fight at the front, didn't we, between Cheese Monkey and Credeo. Credeo got the jump on the GT4 champion Cheese Monkey. Credeo himself, the champion of the GT3 division here at Motive, so he's got the credentials, but in the end could not hold on any longer. The Ginetta was struggling to get past the BMW due to the straight line speed, but in the end Cheese Monkey did manage to get past and has pulled the gap since then. The pit window was his opportunity to get that margin, and he well and truly went for it and has delivered brilliantly in the final part of this race. Still, as we say, 15 minutes left to go, but ever since the pit window he's looked in cruise control as Cheese Monkey. I haven't been able to look past him since we came out of the pits, so really well done to the champion, looking to pick up where he left off here and start his season in the best possible way. His title defence is off to a great start here, but Marty's still just ahead of Freeman right now. These two still going at it for the final podium spot. Has Marty got what it takes to keep a charging Freeman behind him? These two, as we said, both teammates at Team Run DJC, so this is for pride. It's for a little bit of a inter-team rivalry between these two, but the main thing is getting both cars home and consolidating these points that they've got, because it is a very strong points finish that both of these two have at this point. These two about 20 seconds off the leader Cheese Monkey, but they are about 25 seconds clear of John Jig, the next car. Just noticing on the timing board there that Duke Martin's closing in a little bit on the Lazy Camel. Gap's now under a second visibly between those two. It says 1.2 on the timing screen, but there we go, 8 tenths it's come down to now, so this is going to get interesting between these two. Duke Martin could be in range to try and get the move done here on the Ginetta. The Aston Martin, he's going to have a pace advantage down this part of the track. He's going to be close enough though. The gap pulled out a little bit through those couple of corners we saw before the back straight, so it's going to need to be a real oomph down this straight for the Aston. Driving in the number 6 British Racing Green, it's going to have that slipstream, but is he going to be able to butter any crumpets by the time we get to the end of this one? 4 tenths between these two, up towards the braking zone. The braking zone comes just in time there for the Lazy Camel, but Duke Martin's still putting the pressure on him though. Has a little look to the inside and he's going to go for it. Duke Martin commits one down the inside and gets himself up into 9th place there. Lazy Camel saw that one coming up the inside and did not fight that one too hard. Duke Martin up in position, can now try and set his sights on Snooky in 8th place. Beautifully done there from Duke Martin. Cheese Monkey still leading this race, 13 seconds. Is his gap over Credeo? Marty still holding on from Freeman, but these two losing hand over fist to Cheese Monkey and Credeo whilst they battle it out. Freeman still can't find a way around him, but I think it's the closest he's been at this point. I reckon the gap's about half a second maybe between them right now. So here we go. Freeman could have a good chance here of picking up this final podium spot. Weaving a little bit in the background, trying to put Marty off, trying to make him aware of what might be about to happen. 4 tenths between these two coming up towards the braking zone, but the corner comes just in time there for Marty road racing. Jude Martin's still running in 9th place, having got that move done on the lazy camel on the previous lap. Losing a bit of time to Snooky though. Snooky's pulled out a bit of a gap to these two over the last lap or so. Snooky's got some breathing space. He's a long way behind XandaFlanda, so he'll be wanting to consolidate that 8th position that he's in right now. Pete Bibb has got XandaFlanda still closing in on him. XandaFlanda now just over 2 seconds behind Pete Bibb. So this one could be an exciting race in the final part. As we're into the final 10 minutes here at Paul Ricard for the opening round of the season here at Motive Racing for the GT4s. Freeman's still on the back of Marty right now, 4 tenths between these two as they're coming out of the final corner. It's about to start their 25th lap of this race. Raki in the comments there saying, good evening Motive lovers. Welcome along Raki. I think it's just yourself and JR tonight, but great to have you with us. Drop a like on the video as always, mate. But we've got a great battle going on here between Marty and Freeman right now. Half a second between these two. They've been going at it for a while. I just noticed a bit of a lag there on the stream. I'm hoping and praying that that does not persist. But oh dear, it's always a little bit of a worrying sign. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Are you serious? Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. So, I think yeah, it's back. Okay, that's good. Raki saying that Cheese Monkey's putting in a Janetta in the spotlight again. He really is, Raki. I mean, he won the championship with it last season, and he stayed loyal to his championship winning car despite the fact that it's possibly not the best car. He's really showing that it's a good little runner if you can eat that speed out of it. If you rag it around like no tomorrow, then you can get good results, as Cheese Monkey proved last season along with Standard Control. Those two 1 and 2 in the championship, both driving in the Janetta. So Cheese Monkey has got the talent, he's got the speed, and he's got the consistency as well. That's the main thing that wins you championships. He is so consistent. As he's coming out of the final corner now, he's about to start his 26th lap of this race. 8 minutes left to go here at Paul Ricard for this one. So I reckon we're going to have 4 more laps, including the one that Cheese Monkey's just starting. Marty's still running just ahead of Freeman in the battle for the final podium spot. Cordeo's been on his lonesome for the last, well, pretty much since the pit window really, in 2nd place. Cordeo, a champion in his own right, current reigning champion of the GT3s here at Motive. He's going to face a stiff test from drivers like Katie this season for sure, amongst others. But Freeman's still on the back of Marty, 9 tenths between these two coming in towards the first corner. XandaFlanda's just over 2 seconds behind Pete Bibb at the moment, so he's still there. In fact, no, I think it's a bit less than that now, is it? I think it might have. Yeah, I think it's a bit less than 2 seconds. I reckon that's about 1.6, 1.7. We'll see once they get to the next timing screen. But I reckon that's about 1.7 between those two as they're coming up towards the line to complete their 25th lap of the race. That's 1.4. I knew it was definitely less than 2 seconds though. Jude Martin also has got passed again by Lazy Camel, so these two trading places, but Jude Martin has got back ahead of him since relinquishing that position and is now back up into 9th. These two though really doing a great job here, giving it everything for 9th position here in this race. As Freeman's dropped a little bit off of Marty over these last couple of laps. Raki there says so-called siege the small car against the Beamster. Cheese Monkey had a consistency I can only dream of. Yeah, I mean, he turns out each and every week and he's always on the pace, and his qualifying form is on point, which you would expect, but in the races, I mean, the fact that he was able to stick to the back of Cordero and put him under so much pressure despite having no straight line speed. And when I say no straight line speed, I'm not exaggerating, by the way. He literally was all over his rear bumper coming out of the corner, coming out onto the back straight. He was like on him, literally the car. He was inside the boot of Cordero's Beamer in front of him. And still being that close to him in the slipstream, Credere was still pulling away down the straight, and you just think to yourself, the BMW looks like a rocket ship next to that thing. And it isn't. It's just a case of the Ginetta just has no straight line speed, but it's so quick through the corners, and Cheese Monkey just gets the best out of it. And JR saying there, it tops out at Bathurst. I think it does here as well, I think, because at a certain point down that back straight, you can just see Credere taking off. It's literally like it's taking off from Kennedy Space Center. It's like they're together for most of the straight, and about halfway down, it's all of a sudden it's like someone's put thrusters in the back of Credere's car, and he's just gone. But Cheese Monkey did a really good job pulling under that pressure, and actually, staying with him in the corners and managing to get one up the inside, and then putting out enough of a gap before the straights to stay ahead of him. So Cheese Monkey, you cannot fault the job he has done. He has been superb tonight. Yeah, JR saying you have to manage the revs or you'll blow the engine. So it really is about managing the car as well. It's quick, but there's a lot of maintenance involved with this car, and ultimately Cheese Monkey's shown that he can do it, and that he can do it in the best of situations against some of the best drivers on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. As we're just seeing Cheese Monkey coming up to some lap traffic, I believe that's Falguest just up ahead of him. So Falguest is not had the race that he would hope for, I'm sure, but it's unlike Falguest to see him be so out of sorts in a race like this. I mean, he's been picking up the penalties left, right and centre, and I'm surprised to see that, because Falguest is usually a very disciplined driver. So I don't know. Hopefully next time out we will see Falguest at his best in game. Matthew Cutho even. I don't know. Not that I know your name or anything, but he says you sound saucy tonight, Andy. Oh, thank you very much. I mean, I take that as a compliment. I do believe that that is a compliment. Saucy. I do like to add a little bit of the sauce, a little bit of the peri-peri sauce, maybe a bit of ketchup, maybe some sweet, sour and savoury sauce on your action tonight. But Matthew Cuthbertson was actually used to be a commentator here at Motive Racing back in the very, very early days. He used to commentate on our Project Cars 2 leagues. He had the nickname of the Gulpinator, actually, due to the fact that he used to drink during the streams. No, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I'm going deep now. It was orange juice. But Cheese Monkey, he's still leading this race. All the sources, absolutely, mate. You know the drill. You know the score. But Cheese Monkey right now still with the lead of this race, and just doing the business, managing this one out. Oh, the XandaFlanda's on the back of Pete Bibb here. He's got ahead of him. XandaFlanda's up into P6. Great stuff there from him. As they're coming down the run up towards turn 3. Has he got the move completed, or is Pete Bibb going to come back at him? XandaFlanda's not going to have to pace down the straights, we know that. So is Pete Bibb, if he can stay on the back of him coming out onto the long straight, then he may be able to return the favour and get back up into 6th. As you can see John Jig in the foreground there, he's got enough of a gap to these two to hold on in 5th. But here we go, let's see whether or not you will know what that was, but let's see whether or not Pete Bibb has got enough legs on that Audi to come back at the Ginetta down this long straight, as we've got under 2 minutes left to go here in this race. Cheese Monkey's just starting the final lap of the race now. He's got one more tour of this one, and the reigning GT4 champion looking set to pick up where he left off last season. XandaFlanda, oh, he's got Pete Bibb looking back to his outside. That straight line speed from the Audi really did help him out coming down that part of the track, but for now XandaFlanda's holding on for that 6th place by the skin of his teeth. Oh, I thought Pete Bibb might have had him there, but XandaFlanda doing really well to fend him off for now. Cheese Monkey into the final half a lap here at Paul Ricard for the opening round of the season, and looks set to take this one. Really great job from him. Freeman challenge on Marty in the end looks like it's petered out a little bit now. He's dropped back to over a second behind him, so I think Marty is going to bring that home in 3rd place for Team Run DJC. Pete Bibbs still on the back of XandaFlanda, but through this part of the track, XandaFlanda's going to have an enormous pace advantage. It's only down the straights where that Audi's going to have to pace over the Ginetta. Drew Martin's dropped off a little bit off of Lazy Camel. He's now 2 seconds adrift of him. Snooky's got 8 seconds in front of Lazy Camel, so he should be good for that 8th place. Drew Martin not too far off the back of Lazy Camel. Djphil-green running in 11th place in the Audi. We've got Nilsson running in 12th place at the moment. But here is the man of the moment. As I always say, Cheese Monkey's coming in towards the final few corners here at Paul Ricard. Took the championship last season in this GT4 series, managed to secure it in the final round of the season at Alton Park after a season-long battle with Standard Control. Standard Control not here this season, so his main challenger last season is not going to be giving him the fight that we saw last season. He had a good fight with Cheese Monkey in the first part of the race, with Credeo. Cheese Monkey did in the first part of the race, but ultimately came out on top, managed to get it done and pull away after the pit window. Cheese Monkey up towards the line. He's going to take the checkered flag here. It's going to be round 1 of the season to the reigning champion. Congratulations to Cheese Monkey in the number 1 Ginetta. What a job on a track that is known for its favourance towards higher powered cars. The Ginetta has gone and blown the form book out of the window there. What a job. Credeo comes over to take 2nd place. Our GT3 champion from last season, getting a decent start to his GT4 series this time around, but he will definitely be looking at that gap at the end and thinking what he can do to try and bring that down over the course of the season. Marty comes over in 3rd, holds on from Freeman. Team run DJC 3rd and 4th, great stuff from those guys. John Jig is going to come around the final few corners here, and it's going to be a P5 for John Jig here in this one. Not too shabby of a performance from him. Falgas has finished the race in 11th, Nilsson in 12th. John Jig over the line, it's going to be a P5 for him. XandaFlanda coming up towards the line, it's going to be a 6th in this race here. RaKi says in the comments, congrats to Cheese Monkey. Absolutely, RaKi, he's really pulled out the stops tonight for sure. Falgas says had no practice in first time on Paul Ricard. Well, to be fair, mate, considering it's your first time on Paul Ricard, that's not actually a bad result. Because I mean, I'm saying that, not the result, but your actual pace in the race was really good. I mean, you're up in P5 in the early part. You weren't too far back with Freeman, so hats off to you for that one. Snooky over the line in 8th place. Lazy Camel comes over the line in 9th. Good race from him. Had a good battle with Duke Martin. In the end, came out on top. Duke Martin completing the top 10. Windsor didn't start the race. That is that then, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to wrap this up pretty quickly here because I've got a commentary on F1 2021 to do. So big huge thank you to the guys who joined us. Drop a like, guys, if you enjoyed the video. If you want to join us, go to www.motiveracing.com. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next one. Have a great evening. Peace.